Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is April. What's up, my TCG fam? Come on in. I'm trying to see where the camera is on this device. And let me see because we have some stuff to talk about. Now, I know I've been kind of off focus with um, the auditing and holding the officials accountable and all this, but we're getting back onto something because something has come up, and I want everybody to know what has come up. We all have to really watch what is going on, all of us. Give me just a moment. Let me just get set up. We're going to read some information because woo, some stuff has happened that okay, so yeah, so the title of this live is, let me make sure the title is showing. So detectives lie. I'm talking about law enforcement. Law enforcement. So if anybody is ever in a situation, and by the way, welcome again, welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, please like the video, and if you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe. So I want to talk about law enforcement lying. So a few years ago, I not a few years ago, whenever I think it was probably last year, right before the Young Thug trial, I was talking about how, and I hear this. So I was talking about, is it playing? Yeah, I think so. So I was talking about how like 80% in the state of Georgia here, 80% of black on black crimes, and I was speaking of a specific crime. I'm talking about rape cases. Um People are not, it's not resolved. There's no one, there's not even an arrest in most cases. So we did a little research on black crimes in the state of Georgia. And you wonder why black on black crimes aren't resolved, right? Why there's no arrest or whatever. So I was thinking, a lot of people were thinking, okay, well, it's because black women are looked at as people that can't be victims of certain crimes. Um, we were thinking down those lines, but it's more to it than that. It's more to it than that. On that note, there are, and I'm saying detectives because that's who does the investigating, but basically, I got too much going on in my ear. Okay. So basically, okay, so if somebody has violated me, right? If somebody has violated me in some whatever way, robbed, whatever, and I go to the police department to report this violation, right? Okay. So I go to the police department and I go in there and I'm speaking to the officer, whoever takes my statement as to what's happened. So they're writing down everything that that's they're supposed to be writing down everything that comes out of my mouth, right? Because this is supposed to be given to a detective that's going to investigate the situation. So this is crazy. People are just not going to understand. Everybody said, not everybody, but a lot of people say, okay, law enforcement lies. The justice system is not, it's unjust. So people say that, but let me just say this. Let me close the door. So this is my opinion. Okay. Now, I'm not a legal professional and I'm not giving any legal advice because I'm not a legal professional. But in my opinion, based on what we found, there, those folks, when they're looking at you taking your statement, for whatever reason, whatever's going on in their mind, they can take your statement and they can change it to satisfy what they want. So if you look at the statement, if you look at the original statement is really what matters. But if you look at the original statements and then say for some reason days later somebody else takes another statement, I guess the detective, I guess, what was it, not enough information, I don't know why they do this, but if it's really different, I'm not talking about a few things, I'm talking about really different, something's wrong. It is really, really different. And why is it that some cases there's like a whole slew of paperwork, right? There's notes taken from the detectives that go out and investigate. There's pictures, there's, they do some real investigating. But then some cases you see where there's no notes. There's it's just two things that's been filed versus eight things for other folks. So I want to show comparison. I want to show you what I'm referring to. And this is not StreamYard. This is let's see, YouTube's um see. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen. Hold on, let me see. Oh, it's got these people's names in it. They didn't redact this information, y'all. Okay, I can't show this one because they didn't redact it. Is this the victim or the? No, that's the person that was charged. Yeah, I can't show this one, so let's not go for this one. Right, let's see. So if we go to share the screen and then if I go to okay, so this is so I have to pull it up first, pull the file up first. So we're just going to go over, we're going to compare some stuff. So basically, my point is whether for whatever reason that Black people's cases aren't important enough for them to go the extra mile or do their job with it, basically, for whatever reason, they can make or break the case, period. So if they want you in jail, they're going to put you in jail. It's just like Fanny. And that's why I say I'm so happy that the Young Thug trial was televised because we were all able to see the foolishness of how people can charge people without even having proof. We actually saw how um the system was unjust. Look at what happened to him. He spent all that time in jail and they didn't even have evidence. So he was pretty much like it's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty, but he was guilty and had to prove his innocence. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So let me see. Maybe this is what I'm okay. Now, I want to say I wish I could put like a banner up because before we start reading this information, some of these cases, now this is for the state of Georgia, but before we start reading some of these cases, if you are a person that that's a little sensitive, I will say, some of this information um is deep. So if you are sensitive, you may not want to listen to these cases because these are some real cases, guys. These are real cases. But there's a problem because all these cases except one case, there was real investigation and there was a person that was actually arrested out of all these cases. Oh, and I want to say this while I'm trying to pull this up. one thing that I did learn, because we may not read over it, but one thing I did learn, and this is for males and females, if you're ever a victim of a, or let me say this, if you're a male or female and someone is trying to have, you know, relations with you and you don't want them to, don't say stop, say no. Because when you tell the law enforcement that you said stop versus no, for some reason they just drop it. That's case is closed. They don't go any further. So always remember, if somebody is trying to take advantage of you, say no. I would say it all, but make sure you use the word no. Don't ask me why there's a big difference between stop and no. Make sure you use the word no. But again, these are some cases that we're gonna read over, and some of these are will trigger folks, that may be a little sensitive. All right. And this also gives us an idea. There's a lot of teaching in the reasoning why we're going over these cases. We're opening up the window of, oh, we're opening the door of how things are investigated. And what you're going to notice is that things are investigated differently, different cases. So, whatever reason. So, if they want, why isn't this thing? Okay. Let's see if that'll do it. Okay. So, let's open this. Okay. There it is. So, I can only open one at a time. Let's see if I can add another one in there through different tabs. Yep. So, I'll just add the different tabs. Okay, let's get another one open because it's just three. So, and this is, I'm going to get it. Let me see. Give me just another moment. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Okay. This is a good one right here. And by the way, these are all these victims were Black. All right. So let's see. This one is 1, 2. So this is number 2. Okay. So we're going to go over case number 2 is what we're calling it. And then we're going to go over case. Now we're going to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're going to go over case number 4. Sure the notes are in here. I think we're going to stick with evidence tags, warrant information, case report, affidavit. Yeah, let's do number 4. It might be too long, so if we have to cut it short, no, let's stick with the shorter one because I don't know how long this is going to take. All right, so we're going to compare that one to. All right, so this is going to be 2008 07991. Case 07991. All right, so we're gonna do this one first, and then we're gonna go back and pull up number 2. All right, let me just see. Make sure nothing personal, and make sure they redacted the information correctly. Oh no, this is somebody's record. Everything's just so mixed up. I'm sorry. I apologize. What was this? Okay. Yeah, this is a good one. And hopefully everything has been redacted that needs to be, because we don't want to give anybody's personal information out. Okay, so let's all right, so now we can share the screen. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're on the same page now. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. This is a case, this is a report, the rape case, as you can see at the top. All right, so we're just gonna go through and look at this. Okay, this is a case. Um, Look how, it's a report. It's got information on what happened to this person, and it kind of goes into detail, and I'm just reading over it because I don't want to. I probably should have went into it myself and kind of redacted information because I'm seeing names and I'm trying to make sure it's the law enforcement names, because that's public record and not people's personal information. See, like right here, it's got somebody's address right there. These are things that's supposed to. Now these are public record, so it's not me that's giving out this information. This information was given out, um was issued through the Warner Robins, which is Houston County Police Department. But so I'm not responsible for this information being put out there. But I just don't feel comfortable with folks' address being put out there. So like me, what I would prefer to do, like I would prefer to redact this information myself before we go over cases. So I'm just going to stop sharing because there was someone's address there. And see, that's the thing about it too. These this is something that, when a public record is being produced, and when you've requested a public record, right? And the um the person who's redacting information, that's their job. Their job is to make sure that people's personal information is not being given out to whomever, because we all can request these records. And you want to their job is to make sure that personal information such as first and last name, address, driver's license number, social, all that kind of stuff, that's considered personal information. So these records, they didn't do a good job of. And see, when I'm reading over these things myself, I'm not paying attention, but now that I'm sharing my screen on the computer, I'm like, okay, hold on, this some stuff should have been taken back. So I'm just going to go over reading. I think what you're seeing right now, um and I've already shown it, so we're just going to keep it moving. But I just want to make a statement. Okay, I am not the one who produced these records. I obtained these records from Houston County Police Department. Okay. So there's another. So the top of this is somewhere. We don't know. So, gosh. And see, when I say, for those of you who are sensitive, I'm the one that's sensitive because I'm just reading over this stuff. It's like, eesh, it's like, you know, hit her in the face with his fist, demanding to know who was calling her. She advised he stopped when the taxi pulled up outside. Advised she went to the refrigerator to get some ice for her face. And Jackson came back inside. She advised he grabbed her by the hair and pushed her into her mother's bedroom and pushed her onto the bed. Advised Jackson took off his pants and blah blah with his what in her face. She advised he pulled her. And by the way, this channel is for 18 years or older, so children are not allowed. um you know what, I should probably put some kind of warning too, because this is kind of explicit. So we should have done this on StreamYard, because I don't even know how to do a pop-up dashboard. What's this, like a banner? On this. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to stop sharing the screen. And actually, we're not going to go into the detail. We're not going to stop sharing the screen, but I want to show. Let's close this out. Okay, so with that person's case, let me show you. Is it going to, it's not going to let me show you this. Okay, so pretty much this person's case, it has the report, the initial report, and then it has um, pretty much the report. There's no notes, there's no uh, pictures that were taken, um, nothing. There's nothing like that. Now, it's two pieces of two things that were filed in this case. Two things. Okay, two things that were filed in this case. There was no investigation. And the reason for that is because in that case, like I said, the person said that they told them to stop. And the officer, the investigator, they said that because the person didn't say no, that they didn't even try to go any further. So they didn't even try. And the way that they wrote the well, let's not get into that because that would be my opinion. I don't want to give my opinion. Now that's two things were filed. Now here's another case, and this was case number 2. Show you the difference in okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 things were filed on this other one, this other case. 8 things. And these 8 things consist of a search warrant. Okay, search warrant, um, evidence tags. This is the difference between, because the other case, the person had given evidence as well. So evidence tags on this one. There was no evidence tags on the other one. The case report, which is what we were reading, the case report on the other one. This has the search affidavit, case report, evidence tag, some sort of warrant information. It just says handwritten notes 1, 2, 3. 3 filings for handwritten notes and an advisement form, which I don't know what an advisement form is. Let me see what that is. Oh, so there was an actual arrest in this case. Yep, there was an arrest because this is that's what the advisement form is. You have the right to remain silent, all that. So yeah, I don't want to show this either because this person's name is right there and their address. Oof, I don't see how they could give this information out like that. Wow, bad. What if I was some sort of vigilante, and I was trying to get some revenge on somebody who's done something? Like, all the information is right there. I would have it. But yeah, so 8 things, all those things that I just named in this other case, and there was an arrest made versus 2 things, and there was no arrest made. There were no notes taken. There was no search warrant. There was no nothing. So they decided right from the start. So when you always remember, and I'm gonna tell you what I would do, because I read a case last night that made me so mad. I read this one case, and they said, like, the original report, it was 4 days between the original report. So when the person first went to the police department to report this crime, the original report, it had all the details in it. And then 4 days later, there was another detective that took the report, and it was too different. It was information, like, it was almost like it was 2 different cases. So I understand, like, if people like are lying, there might be a few inconsistencies, but for it to be a completely different story, no. It's almost like that 4 days later report, it was from the detective. It was almost like it was too much of the detective, the someone else's point of view versus the person that gave that initial information. So this would be my advice when you're going to the police department. If you're reporting a crime, okay, if you've been a victim of some sort of crime, when you go to the police department and you're given your statement, how about we ask for a copy of that because it's public record anyway, eventually, right? Years down the line, is we can go and get that. So how about we say, okay, I want to see you writing what I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So they're not putting information um for whatever reason they would do this. So they're not adding information that we didn't say, or putting information in there that we didn't give them, or leaving something is important out, because some things, like on the one that I'm referring to, there were things that were left out of that detective's report, and because those things were left out, it made it a whole different type of case. So that's why I say, when you're when you're giving your statement, make sure that, just watch them. This is what you have to do. I mean, it's sad to say this. It's really sad. But as a black person, when you're giving your statement, okay, especially if you're a victim, when you're giving your statement, I would say I want to see, or have them record it. Have them record it. Either record this, or I want to see you writing what I'm telling you down. Because these people can take your statement, and they could be right over here writing, right? They could be over here writing, and then they can take this and they can change it. They can alter it to where it can go in your favor, or they can alter it for whatever reason to where it's not going to go in your favor. So they are basically in control of how this is going to go. You understand? They're in control of how this is going to go. So always remember, when you're giving your statement, make sure that they're writing down what you're saying. If it's not being recorded, okay, on a tape recorder, if it's not being recorded on digitally, make sure that you know what these people are writing down. And then when you finish giving your statement, ask to read it. Make sure that they've written down what you said. Because I read this case last night. It was so frustrating. It is so frustrating to read something where someone said, I can't think of the details right now, but it was so different. The 4 days later, the detective's recording, or statement, not recording, but the statement that they wrote up, it made it seemed like they basically, the detective basically took a case where, so say if you have someone that goes on a date, okay, someone goes on a date, and something happens to that person. This was a blind date. You don't know this person from diddly squat. Okay, you never met this person. You go on this blind date, and something happens, right? So you go to the police department, you're like telling them what just happened to you. So then 4 days later, the detective, in that report, it doesn't say this was a blind date. It says this was an a boyfriend. You see how it's different? It's different. So that's what I saw. I read a case last night where it was so different that it changed the whole scenario. So I know that they do this. I know that they will change what you're saying. So that's why when you are giving your statement, and again, these are cases where this is how 80%. This is why, I don't know why, but this is how the 80% of uh, black on black crimes go unsolved. And it's mainly, and I'm specifically talking about sexual assault essays against black women. It's sad to say, but that's just what it is. That's what it is. It's not, they're not, I don't know. A lot of these women are going into these police departments and they're reporting this information, and that's why so many people don't report stuff. People, because they're like, oh well, nothing happens anyway. And the reason nothing happens is because they don't want nothing to happen for whatever reason, because it's they're in control. So these women are going into these places, giving their pouring their heart out on this, crazy situations, these crazy situations that's happened to them. And do you know that in a lot of these cases that I read, these cases, the statements were taken and filed, and that was it. There was no questioning, there was no investigation. And in some of the cases, well, I'm talking about cases that were just like, what? The victims gave the who, what, when, where, how, all that, all the information, the address, the person, the description, describe the I mean, all this stuff, and there was not even any questioning. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, and you know what? We could say why. We could wonder why. It's not fair. This system is just unjust. And the only way to, we all know it. We all know it. Whether you've been a victim of an unjust system or not, we all know that the system is unjust. You know that. But there are actual people who will, for whatever reason, change your statement for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because they don't believe you. I don't know if it's because they they don't want to do the work. I don't know if it's because you're black. And like I said, for some reason, people don't see black women being victims of certain crimes. I don't know. But these things are happening. So the most important thing is, especially if you live in the state of Georgia, if you're a black woman, or if you're a man too, men, y'all are assaulted as well. Um, when something happens to you and you have to give a statement, watch them write what you're saying, watch them write it down, or have them record it, or you record it. If you're allowed, I don't know if they will probably want to allow you to record it, but if they're, make sure that they're recording it. I want to see it on paper. I want to see what I'm telling you. I want to see it. And when you finish taking my statement, because they're asking all these questions, I want to see and read what I've given you, because you're not going to take my words and leave something important out that that can, lead to this case being solved. You're not going to do that. You're not in control. Your job is to be an investigator, not decide whether you think, that's not, you got to investigate. So that's the whole point. But yeah, what we'll do is so that's what we're going to do. So I know that usually, I think I was starting like Tuesday nights, I was starting like auditor nights. Oh, this is one I wanted to bring this up too. So I think I'm going to go back to Tuesday nights, but I wanted to bring this up. I don't know who's seen what's going on with Long Island audit. Sean. So Sean Reyes, he was in this situation where um this certain police chief who's crooked, okay, he's been doing stuff to Sean. Sean's been having these run-ins with this guy. And so Sean decides to go to the person's home, to the police chief's home. Now he's got a lot of nerve, but as soon as now this man had a long driveway. Okay, it was a long driveway, and as soon as the police chief came out. He said, "Get off my property," of course. And so Sean start backing out of the property. And let me just show it for those who may have not seen this. But this is a very good example of how people will lie. Law enforcement will lie. Thank goodness that Sean had this on camera. Thank goodness this was on camera. Let's see. And after this boy was charged. He's fighting this case right now. This is going on right now. I'm trying to find the right here. Let's see. I want to get like um the time step up, but I don't want to play the okay, let's pause it right here. Okay. Yep, we're just gonna play this part right here. Back a little bit. Okay. All right, let me share my screen. Y'all, if you haven't seen this, y'all are not gonna believe this. Is the volume on? Make sure. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. Testing, testing. Okay. Testing. All right, so let's see. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Y'all, this just happened a few weeks ago. And I'm not trying to be like anti-police or nothing like that, because there are a lot of law enforcement that work hard to ensure the safety of folks, but there are also a lot of them that are outright idiots, and they surely don't need to be in these positions. Okay, so let's share. All right, so okay, so this is another trigger. For those of you who are sensitive, this is going to really make you mad.
You are right now. You spit in my face.
Get that gun out of your hand,
Goddamn
psycho.
Connecticut State Trooper.
I don't care who you are.
Right now.
You
Hold
spit
on.
in my face.
Property
You're
right
going
now.
to jail now.
Get
Look
off
at
my
this.
property
Look
right
at
now.
this. He spit in my
Get off my
face.
pro-
You said you're
right
going
in
to
my
jail.
face.
It's all being recorded.
I don't care.
I
Get
know
off
you are.
right now.
You spit in my
Okay, so what we're watching, what we're looking at right now, this is where, as you see, the long driveway. So Sean, the guy with the glasses, he's leaving the property. He's walking backwards. Okay, the camera guy is on the side, as you see. The This is the police chief, the guy with the phone, and on the side of him, he's holding his gun. So not only did he tell Sean to get off his property, he walked this dude off his property. But check this out. Check what happens to Sean. Now, keep in mind, Sean is walking off of the man's property.
face. Get that gun
I'm
out
a
of your hand,
goddamn
psycho.
Connecticut State Trooper.
I don't care
property
who you are.
right now.
You
Look.
spit in my
Get off my
face.
property
Did y'all
You're
right
going
see
to
now.
that?
jail now.
Get
Look
off
at
my
this.
property
Look
right
at
now.
this. He spit in my
Get off my
face.
pro-
You said
You're
you're
right
going
in my
to jail.
face.
It's all being recorded.
I don't care.
I
Get
know
off
you don't
my
care
property
because you don't face any
right now.
consequences. Don't
This is
spit
the
in my
biggest
face.
mistake you ever
No,
made.
no, it's not.
This
It's
is
just
the biggest mistake you ever made.
Look at the gun in his hand. He spit in my face. I want him arrested.
So we went through the assault statute, and there's nothing that specifically states that spitting on somebody is an assault. Turn around for me.
Oh my goodness. Did y'all hear that? That actually happened just a few weeks ago. This happened just a few weeks ago. And guess who was arrested at this scene? Sean was arrested. This man spit in his face. As you can see, Sean was leaving his property. If you tell somebody, if somebody is on your property and you say, "Get off my property," and they're leaving your property, you don't have the right to go and assault them. They're leaving your property. So Sean was leaving the guy's property. So not only was he, so while he's leaving the property, the man spits in his face and Sean gets arrested. And I wonder, what was he charged with? Let me see what he was charged with. And they said that there's nothing in the law that would allow them to be able to arrest somebody for spitting in someone's face. Excuse me. During this, let me tell you something. Sean actually asked later on in this video, Sean asked the police officer, so if I spit in your face, what's going to happen? And the police officer said, you'll be arrested. He said it quick. So they charged Sean with let's see what he was charged with. Some kind of it's a felony. Whatever he was charged with was a felony. And he did plead not guilty, of course, because he's not guilty. But yeah, whatever he was charged with, it's a felony. But nothing's happened so far to this police chief. Nothing's happened. Mm-mm-mm. This is so crazy, y'all. If y'all haven't watched this story, like you have to go, and you're not gonna believe it. Now, if you're a person that gets mad about this kind of stuff, injustice, then don't watch it because it's gonna make you mad. Don't watch it. Some stuff you just got to stay away from if you are one of those people. Oof, don't watch it. If you're one of those people that get mad when you see things, um, people being unfairly treated, don't watch it because it's crazy. But yeah, what I'll do with the cases that I have, because I have about on this thing, this is probably about 20 cases that we can review just to see like how these folks don't even care about these victims. Some of them don't even go any further than taking that initial report, and that's it. But I just have to go in and redact more information because there's people's names that they didn't take out, there's addresses they didn't take out, and I'm just not gonna be the person that's gonna put that out there like that. Even though I'm not responsible for it because I wasn't the person that was supposed to be redacting, but that's just not what I'm gonna do. So we're going to take some stuff out. We're going to redact it a little bit better. How about that? So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and so we're going to go back to our auditors night, Tuesday night, auditor night, and then we're going to do that and we're going to go over these cases and we'll just go from there. We're going to also keep up with what's going on with Sean's case too, see how they're going to handle that. Now, one thing about Sean, though, Sean's had several other incidents where he's had to file suit against the cities, and he's won several cases. He's got really good attorneys. So yeah, so the main thing from tonight, this is what we're going to leave with. We're going to leave with if you're ever having to give a statement, okay? Read what information they've written down from your statement. Read it. Read it, tell them you want to see it. Watch them write it because you want to make sure that what's coming out of your mouth is being recorded properly. Because there's just some evil people out here and they will change up the story for whatever reason they will do that because it's happening, y'all. It's happening, and this is why so many situations are mm, this is why justice is not being served. And then they'll sit there and make up stuff for when they want somebody to be put away, they'll make stuff up. So yeah, we want justice to be served. We want to be treated equally, and we want things to be fair. Period. So that's all to it. All right, so that's all I have to say right now. I don't know if the comments are on. I don't know if I did see a few people come in. Thank you all for coming and watching. Um yeah, so we'll go back and we'll pull up the cases and read some cases. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I wanted to go over. I don't think so. And as far as like the channel, like I want to go into kind of doing the celebrity news. Also, I want to kind of bring it down a little bit. I want to get back to doing more local news, things that's going on in the community, because that's just what matters to me the most. So I'm going to still do the celebrity news, but I also want to get into stuff that's happening local. All right. So people, thank you so much for watching and coming into the channel. I really appreciate it. I am April, and thank you. I will see you next time. Peace.